Hello, my lovely friends, and welcome to another episode of Tiny Glade. Today we're doing another Tiny Daily, and its theme was Lakeside Inn, if I remember correctly. It has been a while. Well, a couple of days, not a while, just a couple of days. And as you can see, I've quickly started adding this lake. And this building was already there, so I decided to make this the Lakeside Inn from the theme. Of course, I'm using the theme more as an inspiration than a hard theme, so I will be building some other stuff not related to the inn. But first I was focusing on getting a little balcony or terrace or however you want to call it above the water ready. And I want to place a door there, but I couldn't on the stone wall, of course, so I tried making a staircase, which I still really need to learn how to do it. This is not the way how you do it. I've seen some beautiful staircases on the internet. There's even a beautiful staircase right next to this building, and I just don't know how to build that one yet. So here you see me struggling with this. Eventually I do replace it with something else, but it's just me trying to figure it out. How do I do this? Does it look good? No, not at all. It doesn't fit in this style at all. It takes up so much space of the terrace that you just cannot really use it effectively. Now here you see me adding some nice windows to it, and me trying to put a lamp on the fence, but that's not possible sadly. And here, this is where I noticed the staircase, and I tried to see how did they do this, because this is so steep. But then I discovered that they used a path. So apparently if you have a high building, you can use a path to and get a stair. But as you can see, I got an arch if I'm placing a path under it. So what did I do? I placed some land under it, and that's how I got the staircase. It still doesn't really look that good because of the height of the staircase, but it's all fine. It's all fine. It worked out in the end. So just adding some more nice little windows. I think I removed these as well because there will be a chimney on this side if I remember correctly, and this is where I added a staircase to this side of the terrace, so you can enter it from the outside world. That does not make too much sense that this building has two entrances, but it's nice to have. I thought it was nice. Just some roof windows now, just to spice things up. And there's the chimney, of course. What is a house without a chimney? So I rearranged the windows, rearranged the door that I had there. I don't know why. I think my plan was to have a front door there, but the building now has two accessible doors from the outside, so I figured it wasn't really necessary anymore. I added a little round corner to the terrace. I think I removed that later. I was very much not knowing what I was doing and just going with the flow. For some context, I was with some friends in a Discord call while doing this, so no stream this time, but I still recorded it. And they were watching with me and they were playing as well. So we got inspired by each other and by showing each other the works. So they gave me some ideas for the future of this build. But here I was trying to do something with the roof because I thought it looked, too empty or something. Or too flat, so I added that little extra part, like a I don't know what you call that, but an extra floor on the building. And this is where I started to make the garden. So I did try to add a door here, so the door did actually return, but not for the front door type deal, but for a garden type deal. I wish there was more of a way to decorate gardens, like placing benches or some things, but nature is fine as well. If only we could place rocks down, that would be nice as well. Some rock work. And here I made a diagonal entryway into the garden. I'm not very good at keeping closed off areas. I always make a lot of pathways and a lot of openings everywhere. So it's something I might challenge myself on doing next time. Just making sure that the house is actually more isolated. And here I wanted to add a nice little what do you call it? A canopy or something? I don't know what you call this, but a roof over the entry part of the terrace. For just in case if it's rained or whatever. And I didn't know really how to do it, but I used the building type and then made it wood, so it got wooden beams. And I really liked how it connected to the building, so I wanted to make it connect more and extend it all the way there. And I really liked how it turned out in the end. I just changed the colors to differentiate it from the building. And here I wanted to add a chimney, but not this one. I wanted to add the small chimney, so I made a little hole right there. You won't notice it anymore when it's there. And then have the chimney right on the side. I was experimenting with having the chimney on the other side as well. This is where I wanted to extend the terrace with a round part. It didn't actually work out, so I removed it later. I don't know actually if I ever placed it. Because I just couldn't figure out how I wanted it. I just wanted a bit more space, but it just didn't work out. So I extended the roof part there, so the pillars went over the side, and used that as a decoration for the terrace. And this is where I experimented with a different position for the chimney there on the side, but that didn't. I don't know. Yeah, did I use that now, or did I bring it back to the original? I think I brought it back. I don't remember anymore. It has been a couple of days, as I said. I'm now recording the voiceover. And this is where I'm starting to build on this little island. I didn't really know what to build here, but I thought a castle would be nice. But not just a regular castle, but just a castle with a lot of towers and a lot of different heights, giving a nice view over when you're looking over the lake. The lake, of course, isn't too big because of the space restriction. But I really wanted to use the landscape here to really create those curves into the mountain with the walls. Just adding another pillar just to get that ready. And here I was going to build a bridge from that side to the actual mainland, because of course you need to be able to get there. And it was a bit of fiddling around, but eventually got it to work. And of course changed the color into the wood one, because I love the wooden textures. More wood is better. Using the church windows and doors to create a nice doorway over there, and trying to use those window walls, those church windows in this tower. I really wish you had some decorations under these window types. I know it's not too realistic, but just some planters would be so nice. Here I tried adding some balconies, not that it makes too much sense with a window, but it's just fun. And here's a bigger balcony, trying to get it a bit higher. And a door there to make it a bit more realistic. And here I wanted to add something at the bottom. I sadly couldn't lower it further. I wish you could lower stuff into the ground. That's something I got too used to with the Planet Coaster. Because now I wanted to have these castle things, those blocks at the top of the tower, to be lowered, just to create a basis for this tower, but it didn't really work out. But that doesn't matter. Adding some doorways right here. I wasn't really able to get a straight door. They all curved really weird, and that's probably because of the terrain we were working with. But that's fine. Eventually, I managed to. I accepted this just by slightly making it a bit wider. I couldn't get the shape I wanted, but it's still a bit weird. But that doesn't really matter. Just adding some doors around and some pathways so people can get in, of course, because that's important. And then adding some windows, just the square windows. That doesn't make too much sense, of course, but I think it looked nice. But eventually I changed them to these church-like windows, just because I thought they fit the style more. So you have some inside. This is not a castle used for war or for hiding. It's just to show off the beauty of this wealthy person that lived here or lives here. Whatever you want. You can make your own story with my builds, of course, just like I'm doing. But trying to make a story is always nice. Here I was adding some more windows, but I didn't really like how it turned out because it's so flat. So I decided to add a little square building to it. So far I've just only used round pillars. But just adding this little thing gives so much more depth to the entire thing, and just creates a more beautiful skyline, I should say. Just testing out the camera mode, but I got stuck here. You cannot get out, so eventually I did this, just showing my friends what I built so far, and asking them for some feedback. And then when I got that, they asked me to show them the other worlds. Maybe I should cut this out, but I won't. just for you guys to see. If you haven't watched the 4-hour video, which I completely understand, if you can see with my rough camera movements, you can see my first ever build. But now we're building this one. So, back from the break, I wanted to add some lanterns to the bridge, but that's not possible. So, I gave up, basically. And I started decorating the rest of the path. I think I will be doing that right now. No, I'm just looking around, I guess. Just seeing where I can add some details, talking. I was really out of inspiration at this moment. Which is, of course, something that can happen with this game. And especially since I did a fall theme again. Fall, autumn. Same meaning, I guess. I really was out of inspiration. But eventually I just started adding. That's the best tip. If you run out of inspiration in this game, just start adding things. It doesn't matter. Everything looks beautiful in this game. Of course, some things will look more beautiful. But if you just start adding, everything will turn out okay. So here I added some more towers just to give it some more substance, some more dynamic, some more unique shape, adding some more windows. And eventually I was content with that. So I added a nice little pathway connecting the Lakeside into the castle area. And this is where a friend gave a tip on what I should build next. Because I was really out of ideas, as you just saw. But he said build a witch hut that lives in the forest. And I didn't really know how that would look. And I couldn't really figure it out. But I thought like this round building looking like a witch hut would be nice. And just to get into the vibe, I made it nighttime so the colors would fit more. And I would get more used to it more. But a round building really doesn't is not really that functional. So I added this little shed to it, or the main entrance, I should say, or at least that's how I'm. That's what I think this is. So I added a nice doorway, a little cute window. Of course, the game adding some things itself, and now I'm going to use the wall technique I used in the previous video. To get some nice texture work onto the wall. Of course, we already are using the purple bluish plaster type with some brickwork peeping through. But that's of course not... this gives some more depth. Talking is hard today, man. I don't know why. But just getting this to a perfect circle took a while, but eventually I got it good. I lowered it down and then started cutting it up, just like I did in the last video, and creating some height differences. I couldn't really see, so I added some lamps there. And just raising it up slightly in some randomization, but still quite similar on all sides, so it wouldn't look out of place, of course, because this is not a ruin, this is a building, but supported by bricks. So that's what I liked, and I think a witch hut should look a bit more weird than a normal building. But I really liked how this turned out, even though it was not really in my original plan. Just adding some windows around, just to make it lively. Of course, a witch is not always a scary or horror figure. They can just be a nice person living in the woods in isolation, because they prefer to be on themselves and have a nice little cottage there, which is definitely turned out to be. Just some more windows around, and then I got back to adding a chimney. Of course, every respectable building needs a chimney, of course. And now I'm starting to add back the forest. I wanted to add some water there, but it didn't really work out, so I just added some flowers around, planted some more trees to really give the feeling of being inside of a forest, even though it's just one small little layer of trees. But that doesn't matter, it's all about fantasy, that's what this game is about. Just add one nice little lantern, and then add a weaving path around, connecting it to the real path, the main path. Just adding some crooked fences to the entire thing with some holes in it, like it hasn't been upkept really well. And I really liked how it turned out, using the camera mode again, just to get some nice screenshots in, I guess. And just to look at it for yourself, because looking at it with the camera view really gives you a different perspective with the other blur effects and everything, so it really makes you evaluate it a second time. Here you see me replacing some trees, and I wanted to add something right here, but I didn't really know, and one of my friends came up with the idea of a well, if that's possible. It's not really possible, but you can always try it. So what I did was make a little pillar, like this as a guide. And then I had this wall around it, make it to a perfect circle using the pillar there as a guide, because doing that by hand is quite hard. So I just did it like this. And I saw that they have added a feature now that you can choose the wall to be one exact height. So that would be nice to add in this situation. But here I thought of making the well using water under it. Just have that effect of water. But water, of course, still comes with a lot of grass and foliage. Making it not really work as well as I hoped. But adding a little window, not a window, a roof atop with some wooden beams made it look quite cute. Not really the most realistic thing, but a cute thing. And maybe I should make the well a bit bigger next time, just so it connects better to the roof part. I tried increasing it a tiny bit, but it was hard. But hey, I'm learning. Every time I build something in this game, I learn about new mechanics, about how to interact, how different units can interact with each other. Here you can see me adding a path around it, just to make it look a bit more usable. But I screwed up a bit and went into the tower, which deformed it. So I had to fix that. But eventually that worked out. And that's the end of the witches area. Just adding some flowers between the trees and some ruinous walls. I don't know why. I thought it would look nice. Just curve them with a path. Just have something there. You know, it doesn't have to make sense all the time. Just adding some decoration. You know. But if you guys have tips or feedback for me, please do. Because I could always use it. Here I decided to build another house to the lakeside. Just use the lake a bit more. And I really liked... in the last theme we had an overhanging house on the ice. But this time you can actually see the beams with the overhang in the water. Because the water is clear. So it's great. And I added a little door from the newest update. So you can actually have a little balcony on your water side view. This is where the main entrance will be of this building. So I added a little side part for the hallway. And everything like that. Just a little front portal of your house. Just adding some windows to it. This side I just added the windows to. I wasn't really content with. So I will change that a bit later. The same as this side. I just wanted to create some more depth. I think I eventually removed this. Yes. Because it took away from the small feeling of the small and cozy feeling of the house. Which I think is really important in this game. And something I need to work on a bit more. But it will work. I added a chimney, of course, because every respectable house needs a chimney. Otherwise, where is your steam gonna go when you're cooking, when you're showering, whatever you can think of. Every house needs a chimney. I slightly changed the color, so every building has a unique vibe to it, because the main building is white, the witch's hut is blue, dark bluish. The castle is orange, and this one is now pink. Same trick as on the other side, just adding a small building piece to add a little second floor to the building inside the slanted roof. So there's a bit more living space. Here I was thinking, what can I do to improve this? Because I do like how it looks, but that one side is a bit flat. And that's where one of my friends came in and said, make a roof that connects all the way to the ground. Which I eventually did not really do, but I tried to incorporate it a bit. But first a fence around this, just to have a little garden, because I consider the house finished at this point, until I looked at it more. Just adding some foliage around, just to make it a lot more lively, you know. Yeah, so adding some lights, just connecting everything together. Have no dead spaces, if you will. Adding some lamps to the building as well, just to get it lit up for the night. And then I looked at that place and didn't really know what to do. So that's where my friend gave me the advice of making a roof to the bottom of the floor. Which I did not do exactly, but I used it to create a little unsymmetrical shape to the building. Which you will see now. So I added this part. Tried to connect it as perfectly as I could to the thing. But it's not really possible, because the other side of your building will stick out of your wall. Like you could barely see there. So I needed to make it a bit smaller. Because otherwise you cannot have this look nice. So that's ultimately why I decided not to make it to the floor. So instead of making it to the floor, I just thought it would be nice if it curved a bit to a less steep incline. So now I could increase this part of the house as well. Increase it a bit, move the window as well, and then be done with it and add some new windows to this. And I really like how it turned out. A little side part of the house, making it look all cozy and special. But I guess that's everything for now. I'm just adding some finishing touches. But if you like this series or Tiny Glade in general, let me know what I should build next. If you have ideas, if you have tips, please let them know. I love learning, but I love learning from you guys and from myself. So I'm not going to be looking anything up. I haven't done so far, at least. I'm looking up other buildings on Twitter, just for inspiration, not for building techniques. But I might eventually look them up. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.